Hi, my name is Mark Jula. I work for Rocket Software in the IBM Storage Management Group. And today we are going to talk about OMEGAMON and we're going to create a situation. So in OMEGAMON, as I explained in the first video, situations are what you create to monitor your storage or really your entire environment. And what's going to happen is your situation is going to be out there monitoring. You're going to set some thresholds, and the situation is going to fire if some of those thresholds get exceeded or whatever causes the situation to fire. So again, as explained in the first video, we are in the storage subsystem on our ISOMDS RS01 ZL part, and we're in the storage. This is the storage agent. So everything underneath here are applications that report to this agent. So application summaries, we can look at cache control units, tape groups, DASD groups, SMS configuration. There's quite a few things on here. And the situations, as I discussed in the first one, are these little icons. If you move your cursor over these little icons, if a situation is in here, it'll highlight and it'll show you that situation, and then you can take action from there. So we have a couple situations that are firing in this environment. So if we're on top of a situation here, we can take a look at this one, for instance, which is looking at low volume free space in a storage group name. So if we put the cursor again over here on the yellow part, shows you the low volume free space, percent is less than 10, and it's in this storage group. So that's why this situation has fired. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new situation that does something different, and we'll watch it fire off. And basically creating a situation for anything on this navigator side is going to be the same for any group you're in. So this will work not only in storage, but will work in ZOS, it will work in KICS, work in DB2 or IMS, whichever you have installed on your help bar. So if we highlight the SMS storage group space, and then I right click on there, this comes up and it gives you a bunch of different options here. One of them in the middle is situations. So if I left click the situations, it brings up the situation for SMS storage group space. So this is highlighted up here again, SMS storage group space. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little white box up here that says create a new situation. So if we create that, it's going to ask you to give it a name. We're going to give this a name, test 1. Description, test 1. So the monitored application, if there were other options, would be there. This is just for your storage subsystem. And the type is going to be a standard situation. We're not going to go to correlated right now, but it's going to be a standard situation. So you click OK. So then what happens is you see that test come up on the tree over here. So now you have a new situation that's being created over there. We're going to make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. And as you can see, we are in the volume group summary. And these are the different attribute items that you can select on for this. So what we're going to go ahead and select on is free space in gigabytes for the volume group summaries. We'll just select on one of these for right now. We're going to say OK. So now you get taken into the situation for the SMS storage group space. This is where you're going to enter a formula and distribution. As you see, this is still over here, test 1. So you got your free space in gigabytes. If you click inside this box here, it gives you different value, like the value of expression. You're going to basically use the value of expression probably 90% of the time, 99% of the time. But any of these other ones work. Change value, average. If you want to do any of that stuff, you can do it. With the value of the expression, then it's going to give you, the Boolean, equals, not equals. So what we're going to do is we're looking at this, and we're going to say if it is less than 1% free space gigabytes in any of the storage groups, let's go ahead and fire off a situation. Okay, so this one tells you your sampling interval. The default is 15 minutes. I'm going to change this to 1 minute because we don't want to sit around and wait for 15 minutes for this. The state, we're just going to say it's minor. So it's a minor if this is less than 1%. So this next tab up here is your distribution tab. So if the default says I'm on RS01, so this is what I'm creating this situation for an RS01. If I wanted to add RS02, which I don't want to, we'd highlight it there and then just click on that arrow and bring it over. So that's what that'll do. Now, expert advice. This is something that you can put information, if you have a playbook for operations, that they can look at, or any kind of information you want to put in here for expert advice, you can do that. You can also put in a link here. So I just put in here a link to go to Google. So you will see what happens whenever this thing gets kicked off. If you had some notes you want to put in there for somebody to read, or if you had an internal playbook or an intranet, site you wanted to go to, you could point these storage admins or systems people or whoever sees the situation to go there. So I'm just going to put in Google. Action, we'll just leave action like it is for now. So we got this called test, looking for free space less than 1%. It's going to go off every 1 minute. It's going to be a minor state, informational message basically. So we're going to say is, we could say apply, or you could just say okay. Either one of those will work. So we say okay. So now if we go back over here to the navigator tree, okay, it hasn't fired off yet, so we're sitting here and we're going to wait for this thing. But what's going to happen, it's going to take about a minute, and then we should see it highlight. Okay, so here we are. We have a minor situation that fired here. It's called test 1. This is what we created. So if we click on the link and we go to the minor test 1, we're going to see that free space gigabyte is less than 1% for these different storage group names. And there's quite a few of them, not quite a few, but there's a handful. So we look at those guys, say, wow, that's too many. I don't want to see all those. Let's say, for instance, I want to look at only the groups that are less than 1%, but they have to have 3 volumes in them. I want the ones that only have 3 volumes. I don't want the ones that have 1 or 2. I just want the ones that have 3 volumes. So what you can do here, go back to this test. You can click on the link. Oh, sorry. You'll right click on the link and you say edit situation. So this is going to bring you back up to the edit screen where you created the situation. So this is, this is already created. All this is the same. So what we're wanting to do is we want to look for SMS volumes, only the groups that have 3 volumes. So we can add a condition. If we click on this add condition here, you'll see another column. Oh, didn't come up yet. So we're going to say the same thing. This is blue. So this is the one that's already selected. The rest of them are black. So we're already looking at the free space. So what we want to do is we want to look at the SMS volumes that are equal to 3. So if we page down in here, we should find SMS volumes. So if we highlight that, we click OK, so there's another column called SMS volumes. If we just put the cursor, it tells you what that is. Represents the number of SMS volumes in this storage group. So now again, we go down to the square, click on that. We're going to say if the SMS volumes are equal to, we're going to say 3. So it has to be free space less than 1% and SMS volumes equal to 3. So we'll say OK here. Now this is going to take a minute or so to fire off and get that. So if you see the test 1, it turned white. So what it's doing, it's not gathering information. And again, here it is. It popped up. So now we have a minor. We click on the link again. And when we display these guys, We only have the volumes that are free space, less than 1%, and the SMS volumes are equal to 3. So it eliminated everything else, and it created this display for you. So, situations. Oh, and also for the expert advice down here, we went to Google. So, if you wanted to go to, let's say, IBM.com in Google, you can just do that, and you're within the SMS screen. You can go do your searches or anything else you want. So anyway, that's what that creating the situation is. It's very easy, very quick, and you can add different selection criteria, do comparisons on how you're going to fire off your situation. So you're done. Okay, let's say, for instance, you create this and you say, all right, I'm done. I don't want this out here. I'm done testing. So what you can do is you will actually right-click on this, do an edit situation again. You bring up the tree in here. So you have your test one, and you got this other one for the low storage. So what you do on the test one is you right-click on there, and this says delete the situation. So if I want to clean this up, I say yes to delete this, and it deletes it from here. So if we close this down, but if you look over here in the navigator, the main navigator screen, you see test one is still here. So what you have to do here is right-click on test one and say remove event item. And then you're back to where you were without your little test guy there, your demo storage, low volume free space is still there, and you're in business. That's going to end video. Hope everybody learned something from this. Thank you.